Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be looking at how Su Qing and the captain infiltrate the sea zombies' ancestral homeland in disguise, survive a brutal test of their cover story, and set off total chaos inside one of the sea zombies' most sacred sites. Before we dive in, kindly smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. The episode begins with the warship closing in on the sea zombies' ancestral land after 3/10 days at sea. As the massive island comes into view, Su Qing takes a deep breath and checks his disguise one more time. His shadow gives off a sea zombie aura, and thanks to his golden crow assimilates Myrad's spirit's ability, he genuinely carries one authentic sea zombie trait, zombie poison, which makes his cover nearly flawless. Beside him, the captain is disguised as the badly wounded third princess, blood soaked into his hair. Su Qing's own body is covered in blood as well, part of the act, part real damage from getting into position over the past few days. Neither of them shows any hesitation, and Su Qing privately admires just how thoroughly the captain has prepared for this. They already know what's coming. The ship is halted by the sea zombies' grand protective spell formation, an energy field kept running at all times because of the ongoing war, meant to screen every vessel entering their territory and strengthen everything inside it. Both Su Qing and the captain have prepared for this moment. The captain releases the correct energy signature on cue, and Su Qing uses a small prepared vial to match it as well. A moment later, the fluctuations fade, meaning the formation has accepted them as genuine. What lies beyond stuns Su Qing. The island is less like land and more like a continent unto itself, covered in enormous black mushroom-like growths that pulse with zombie poison, some hundreds of meters wide, with countless coffin-shaped warships moored on top of them using structures built from bleached bone. Tentacles snake out from the growths, some burrowing into the earth, others tethering ships in the harbor or drawing in mutagen from the surroundings. Overhead, the sky is choked with dark clouds, lit with flickering teleportation light as sea zombie cultivators and warships come and go, and a constant low rumble fills the air, though strangely there's almost no talking anywhere. Farther inland, the color scheme shifts to blood red, rotted trees releasing heavy mutagen, black butterflies drifting everywhere, and rivers running red across the black soil. It's a landscape built entirely around death and transformation, and Su Qing takes it all in with a controlled, careful gaze. Before they can get far, 16 coffins shoot up from the shore and surround the ship, connected by crackling black lightning that locks the vessel in place. One coffin opens, and a three-flame sea zombie cultivator emerges wreathed in dark smoke, a powerful expert clearly in charge of harbor inspections. He greets the captain formally as Third Princess, but there's tension immediately. Gripping the rail, the captain demands news of the king, her father, and is told simply that the king is away at the front and hasn't returned. When the captain presses him on why he hasn't shown proper respect, the inspector kneels but coldly informs them that the king left standing orders. The princess is to be confined to the palace of operations the moment she returns, no exceptions. The captain, unfazed, coughs up blood for effect and threatens something chilling but effective. If he dies in confinement, the sea zombies will simply resurrect him the way they always have, and he'll make sure to consume this cultivator's entire squad as payback once that happens. It's enough to make the inspector pause and reconsider how hard he wants to push, but he isn't finished testing them. He orders Su Qing to step aside so his own subordinate can escort the princess instead, clearly angling to steal credit for delivering her safely home. A coffin opens behind him, and a two-flame sea zombie cultivator emerges, once a mermaid in life, radiating crushing pressure as she closes in on Su Qing. He doesn't hesitate. He meets her head-on and overwhelms her almost instantly with his raw physical strength, tearing through her defenses before she can land a single hit, and he pulls the mutagen straight out of her until she's left drained and barely conscious. It's a swift, decisive win, more than enough to prove exactly what kind of bodyguard he really is. Su Qing calmly turns back to the three-flame inspector and tells him, flatly, that he's welcome to send 9 more just like her if he wants the bodyguard credit that badly. The truth is, the inspector had been testing Su Qing on purpose the whole time. Enemy infiltrators from the rival Seven Blood Eyes faction had been trying increasingly creative ways to sneak into sea zombie territory lately, and even with the princess's identity confirmed by the formation itself, he wanted to be sure.
Between the perfectly matched aura signature, the mutagen draining ability that only a genuine sea zombie could pull off, and the fact that Su Qing had just casually crushed a two-flame opponent, there's no reason left to suspect them. He calls off the coffins, orders the princess escorted to the 7th zombie ancestor shrine, and performs a blood-sealing gesture, offering a piece of himself to wrap the ship in a protective barrier so no one else interferes with their journey. He bows his head respectfully and asks forgiveness for any offense before returning to his post. From there, a massive construct made of living shadow, shaped like a giant octopus, rises from one of the coastal growths and carries them deep into the island's interior. The landscape grows even stranger the further in they go. Ancient rotting trees, rivers of red liquid, and clouds made up of countless drifting eyes belonging to enormous fish, which pulse open and close to cast dim red light over the land whenever they need it. At one point, they pass an excavation site where an entire buried giant's arm, hundreds of meters long, is being unearthed as part of some kind of ritual. After they pass, a massive roar shakes the sky as the arm rises into view. It's a full resurrection ceremony, on a scale Su Qing has never witnessed before, and it briefly leaves him stunned.
Strange butterflies with ghost-like faces on their wings drift around them too, native to the island and far older than the sea zombies themselves, feeding on the ambient mutagen in the air. Oddly, they seem to be drawn specifically towards Su Qing, gathering around him from every direction. Behind him, the captain, still fully in character, teases him about being unexpectedly popular with the local wildlife. Su Qing doesn't dignify it with a response, mostly because he's fairly sure his patriarch companion inside his bag of holding is quietly filing the moment away for future blackmail material, and he'd rather not encourage either of them. As they near the entrance to the 7th zombie ancestor shrine, another wave of spell formation energy sweeps over the ship, and the giant shadow octopus drops into a kneeling position to wait it out. Outside the gate, roughly 1,000 sea zombie cultivators are stationed on the surrounding growths, keeping the location secure, and as the ship passes, they rise one after another and offer respectful greetings to Third Princess. The sheer number of eyes on them puts serious strain on both disguises, forcing the captain to stay in character every second. At one point, he deliberately throws a small charged pearl aside, letting it burst harmlessly and venting his frustration in a way that reads as royal impatience rather than suspicion, and it works. The surrounding cultivators simply bow their heads and back off. Playing the part to the end, he leans on Su Qing's arm for support as they step off the ship together and approach the vortex gate on foot. They step through the vortex and enter a hidden dimension entirely, a chamber filled with a lake of crimson elixir, 8 stone pillars each holding a meditating sea zombie cultivator, and in the center, a 3,000-meter tall statue of a screaming corpse-like figure covered in eyes that show glimpses of other worlds. This is the divine likeness of the 7th zombie ancestor, one of 9 sacred statues that, according to sea zombie belief, hold the actual secret to how their entire race was created. The crimson pool beneath the statue's feet is said to have genuinely miraculous healing properties, which is why a few dozen wounded cultivators are seated in it right now, recovering from injuries sustained on the front lines. What immediately worries both Su Qing and the captain is who else is here. Perched cross-legged on the statue's hand, right beside its chest, sits a young gold core cultivator, and Su Qing recognizes him instantly as the same expert who once led an assault against his people. His presence here wasn't part of the captain's intelligence report at all, meaning either the information was simply wrong, or security around the shrine had quietly been tightened. Either way, they've clearly walked into something more dangerous than expected. Still, turning back now would look more suspicious than continuing forward, so after a brief silent exchange, they commit to the plan and walk forward into the chamber. Nobody stops them. A few of the meditating cultivators crack their eyes open at the sight of the princess and quickly close them again, and the gold core boy doesn't so much as glance their way, apparently deep in meditation. Relieved, the captain settles down near the statue's feet, and Su Qing lowers himself into the crimson pool as well. The moment the elixir touches him, he can feel it's unlike anything he's absorbed before, dense with something like pure nourishment and soul energy, and his unopened Dharna apertures practically hum with anticipation. He reminds himself firmly not to get greedy, just take what he genuinely needs to store away and then get out cleanly. The captain has other plans entirely. While Su Qing carefully paces himself, the captain starts quietly filling bottle after bottle with elixir, clearly trying to squeeze every possible advantage out of this trip.
Every time Shu Qing glances over, the captain gives him a look that might as well say, "Try and keep up," and pulls out yet another container. Shu Qing isn't interested in competing with him over who can be more reckless than his own subordinate, so he keeps absorbing at his own steady pace, letting his shadow and his golden crow companion feed as well. Eventually, his own reserves fill up completely, and even his shadow signals it's had enough. Only his golden crow still has room left, so he leans back against the statue itself to let it finish topping off, since the elixir seems to flow strongest closest to the source. That's when something changes. Through his unique absorption ability, Shu Qing starts sensing a second current of energy moving inside the statue, something separate from its normal power, and clearly unstable. It feels like built-up pressure with nowhere to go, and the fluctuations are unsettling enough to put him instantly on edge. Recognizing real danger when he feels it, he quietly pulls back and eases away from the statue, catching the captain's eye and silently signaling it's time to leave. The captain, of course, reads the situation completely differently. Rather than retreat, he gets that familiar, reckless look in his eyes, unwilling to be outdone by his own subordinate, and unwilling to walk away from an opportunity this rare without leaving his mark on it. He pulls a strange piece of power-infused flesh from his robe, takes a huge bite, and swallows it. Glowing gold light floods out of him instantly, and every meditating cultivator in the chamber snaps their eyes open at once, drawn by the sudden surge. Before Shu Qing can do anything to stop him, the captain leaps onto the statue's foot and bites down hard, actually tearing a chunk out of the statue itself, something that should be nearly impossible given how durable these sacred structures are supposed to be. For a moment, it looks like nothing more than a shocking but survivable stunt, and the captain manages to swallow the piece before the statue can repair the damage. Then, deep inside the statue, that unstable current Shu Qing sensed earlier finally reaches its breaking point. A massive boom rocks the entire chamber as the statue's nose bursts apart and falls away completely. The blast is powerful enough to send the nearby gold core cultivator spinning into the chamber wall, coughing up blood, and knocks several of the healing cultivators hard enough that some of them are left stunned. Every single sea zombie in the room turns outraged in an instant, and to them, the timing makes it painfully obvious what just happened. The captain bit the statue, and the statue's nose exploded right after. As far as anyone here is concerned, there's no other explanation that makes sense.
What makes it far worse is that the wound refuses to heal itself, unlike every previous instance of statue damage recorded in sea zombie history, which always closed up within moments. That single detail sends the gold core cultivator into a rage bordering on genuine panic, because permanent damage to one of the 9 sacred statues would be a catastrophe on a completely different scale than an ordinary act of vandalism. Struggling up out of the wall, he roars in fury and demands to know what exactly was done, then orders every cultivator present to kill the intruders on sight. While every furious eye in the chamber locks onto the captain, Shu Qing seizes the one advantage this chaos hands him. For the moment, nobody is watching him at all. He grabs one of the broken pieces of the statue's nose, tucks it away in his bag of holding, and bolts for the exit, using the panic as perfect cover. The captain, meanwhile, grabs the other broken piece for himself, pushes his own cultivation up another stage in a burst of golden fire, and starts running. The gold core cultivator is faster though, and manages to land a solid hit before the captain slips free using a hidden escape technique and vanishes from sight. Outside the main chamber, more than 20 pursuers converge on Shu Qing almost immediately, most of them 2-flame sea zombies with one genuinely dangerous 3-flame veteran leading the chase. Despite Shu Qing's speed, the gap keeps closing, and he knows that if this group catches up to him together, or if reinforcements from outside the shrine get involved, he'll be in serious trouble. With no other real option, he starts forcing his own Dharma apertures open on the run, one after another in rapid, painful succession, burning through every bit of stored elixir to push his body past its normal limits. Aperture after aperture bursts open as he channels everything he has left, and within moments, he successfully ignites a second life flame, a full breakthrough into mid-foundation establishment in the middle of a desperate chase through hostile territory. The surge of energy that comes with the breakthrough is staggering. Several of the already injured sea zombies chasing him get caught directly in the backlash and reel in pain as their own cultivation destabilizes from the heat, and even the seasoned 3-flame veteran leading the chase is shaken enough to slow down and reconsider.
With his life lamp boosting his combat strength even further, Shu Qing now fights like someone with 3 life flames, despite technically only having 2, and combined with his already formidable physical power, the difference becomes obvious to everyone chasing him almost immediately. He turns to face them head-on. Moving faster than the 2 flamed cultivators can even properly track, he closes the distance in an instant and starts taking them down one after another, overwhelming each one before they get the chance to properly react or regroup. The 3-flame veteran reacts quickly enough to brace himself and burns through extra reserves to keep pace, but Shu Qing isn't even targeting him. He's already moving past toward the weaker cultivators further back, dropping several of them in rapid succession. Within moments, roughly half of his original pursuers are taken out of the fight entirely, and the rest break formation and flee rather than risk facing him directly. His Shadow and Golden Crow companions join the fight as well, feeding on the fallen and growing visibly stronger with each encounter. Only the 3-flame veteran remains directly in Shu Qing's path now. Rather than risk open combat, the cornered veteran throws everything he has left into one final overwhelming burst of power aimed straight at Shu Qing. It isn't enough. Shu Qing meets the attack head-on and overpowers him completely, and both his Shadow and Golden Crow feed from what's left afterward, growing noticeably stronger in the process. Even Shu Qing's 3rd companion, the Patriarch riding along inside his weapon, is left feeling a little useless by comparison, having already absorbed all it can hold from the encounter. With the immediate threat cleared, Shu Qing spares a thought for the captain, still somewhere behind him being hunted by the enraged Goldcore cultivator, and can't help but marvel at how reckless his ally can be, given how much danger that one bite has clearly caused. Still, it worked out in his favor. The chaos the captain caused is exactly what let him slip away cleanly and reach this point relatively unscathed. Sending the Shadow and Golden Crow ahead to scout beyond the shrine's exit, Shu Qing steadies himself and starts preparing his cultivation base for whatever comes next. Moments later, word comes back from his Shadow about what's waiting outside, and it stops him cold. After a beat of stunned silence, his expression hardens into pure determination, and he grits his teeth and pushes forward, launching himself out of the shrine to face it head-on. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly like the video, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. In the next episode, we'll see exactly what has Shu Qing so shaken outside the shrine, and whether the captain can survive the Goldcore cultivator's fury. So, see you in the next video.